Hi, fourth graders. Today we are going to focus on solving multi-step word problems. And today we're going to do this by using something called the CUBES strategy. And what is the CUBES strategy? Let's find out.
Welcome to Mr. Flutterjohn's Math Moment. Today we are going to learn how to use the CUBES strategy of solving word problems. The first thing we need to understand is what CUBES means. The C in CUBES stands for circle. This means we circle all of the numbers in our problem. If a number is in word form, we circle it and write the number above the word in number form. The U stands for underline. We need to underline the question being asked in our word problem. Next, we have the B. The B stands for box. This means we draw a box around math action words in our problem. Then we have the E. The E stands for evaluate. This means we need to figure out what the problem is asking us to do in order to answer the question that's being asked. Lastly, we have the S. The S stands for solve. The step where all our hard work pays off and we finally get to answer the question we are being asked. Now that you know what we are supposed to do in each step of the CUBES strategy, let's try it out. First, we need a problem to solve. Jack has 8 lollipops and Brittany has 7 lollipops. How many lollipops do Jack and Brittany have all together? All right, so let's begin with the letter C. We need to circle all the numbers in our problem. I see 2 different numbers in this problem. Do you see them? That's right, a number 7 and a number 8. Let's go ahead and circle both of the numbers. Now, we need to underline the question so we know what we're trying to find. Do you know what the question is that we're being asked? Yes! How many lollipops do they have all together? Let's go ahead and draw a line under the entire question. Don't leave any of it out. Next, we will work with the letter B in CUBES. We need to box all the math action words. These are the words that help us identify the math operation we need to complete. Do you know what the math action word is in this problem? Exactly, all together. Go ahead and draw a box around the word all together. Now we will move to the E for evaluate. This is the part where we determine what we need to do and create our number sentence or equation. To do this, we need to consider our math action word to know what operation we will be performing. In this case, we drew a box around the word altogether. What operation does this indicate? Correct, addition. We also circled the numbers 7 and 8 as this was the number of lollipops Jack and Brittany have. The question is asking us how many lollipops do Jack and Brittany have all together. So we need to add the number of lollipops Jack has to the number of lollipops Brittany has. This means our number sentence should be 7 plus 8. Now it's time to perform the last step in the CUBES strategy, and that's the letter S, which stands for solve. If we have followed all the other steps correctly, we should be able to find the correct answer to the question the problem is asking. We do this by solving the number sentence we came up with in the previous step. So what is 7 plus 8? 15, that's right. Congratulations, you've solved the problem correctly. Now let's review. There are 5 steps to the CUBES strategy. C for circle all the numbers, U for underline the question, B for box the math action words, E for evaluate the problem by creating a number sentence or equation, and S for solve, where you find the answer to the question. You will become a CUBES master in no time if you practice these 5 steps on a consistent basis. All right, everyone, that does it for this edition of Mr. Flutterjohn's Math Moment. See you next time.
Okay, so now that we know what the CUBES strategy is, we are going to have you solve this problem in your math notebook. So please get your math notebook and pause the video whenever you need to. So if we're using the CUBES strategy, well, first we need to read the problem first, right? So Molly made bead necklaces for 3 of her friends. She used 347 beads on one, 519 on another, and 593 on the third one. There were 1,500 beads in the bag when she started. How many beads are left? So first thing we need to do is we need to circle our numbers. So if I take my numbers, I should circle 3 of her friends. Whoops. 347 beads, that's our next number. 519, 593, and 1,500. Next, I need to underline the question. So my question is, how many beads are left? So we should put a line under that question. Next, we're going to box our key words, and that basically is going to be our left. Okay, so that is going to signal to us that we need to subtract, and we need to find the difference between how many beads she used and how many were there when she started. So in order to evaluate this, I would say we should add first to find out how many beads she actually used, and then take that number and subtract it by 1,500 to know how many would still be left over. So I'd like you in your notebooks to add 347, 519, and 593. Next, take 1,500, and then we're going to subtract that number that you found when you add it up. Please pause this video whenever you need to do your work. Now, since I know that I started with 1,500 and I know that she used all these beads up here, I'm really finding the difference between this number and the total of this number. Now, 1,500 has 2 zeros, so make sure you're very careful with your subtraction. Number lines can be pretty helpful when we have numbers with zeros. So I would maybe do a number line. You could do the standard way. However, sometimes we make mistakes when we make our columns. So when you're done with that, continue the video or pause here and do your rest of your work. So the next step problem, multi-step problem, is going to be Abby paid $65 for a computer backup system and $17 for a cable. She paid $100 in cash. How much change should she get back? So this is a problem having to do with money, and you probably make a personal connection to buying something at the store and paying cash. So first of all, we're going to use our C for circle the numbers. So we're going to circle 65, circle 17, and circle $100. Next, we're going to underline or highlight the question, which is how much change should she get back? We're going to next box the keywords. So I would probably box almost this whole sentence, how much change should she get back? Because when we have the word change in terms of money, okay, that is going to be the difference between how much the items actually cost altogether and the bill that they gave. So Abby, her total for 65 and 17 is less than $100. So she gave a $100 bill to the cashier. The cashier has to give her money back. And that difference, that change, is what we're looking for. So let's evaluate this problem. So she paid $65, and then she also paid $17 for something. To figure out how much the bill actually was when she got to the cashier, we should add those up. So go ahead in your notebook and add those two numbers. Then, since she paid $100, we need to find out the difference between her bill and $100. So we do that by subtracting. So we'll take 100 minus, and then you're going to do the number that you found, and that's going to be your final answer. Now, be careful with the 100 again, because there's zeros, and we tend to make more mistakes when we have zeros in subtraction. So I would suggest a number line for this one as well. And again, you pay $100 on one side, and you're going to count how many steps backwards until you get to that amount that Abby paid. So after you've answered the two story problems, There's a math assignment for the day in today's Schoology folder. 2, submit both story problems and the worksheet to Schoology. And we'd also like you to do 20 minutes of Dream Hacks. I hope you have a wonderful rest.